again, fourth grade. So I'm going to switch gears today. Yesterday we spoke about factors, and there was a little trick with this big T in the middle to help me remember that it is a T chart. I know that I start with 1, then I try 2, then I go to 3 until I repeat. Once I repeat, I can call it good. Today we're going to learn something kind of similar. They go together, and there's also a trick for remembering this one. So today we're going to work on multiples, and I know it's kind of small, but you can see that I put 2 little dots up here on the I. So just like with factors, we have our big T to remember. Multiples, we have these 2 little dots. Those 2 little dots mean we're going to be making a list. So if I were to ask you, what are the multiples of 2? I would put my 2 little dots and start my list. Most of the time, it's going to ask for 5 or 4, a certain number of multiples. Let's go ahead and do 5. So if I said list the first 5 multiples of 2, here's what you would do. You would go through and multiply by each digit. In fact, each number, but we're only going up to 5. So the first one would be 0. Don't forget the 0. People always leave 0 out. The next one is 1, 2, 3, 4, and it would go on and on and on, depending on how many multiples they asked for. Most of the time, it won't ask for more than 5. It'll say list the first 5. So if I look at this, and I'm just going to go through. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 1, 2. 2 times 2, 4, and so on. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. So my first 5 multiples of 2, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. That one's pretty easy. Another one that we could practice on is 6. So I'm going to ask for the first 5 multiples of 6. So I'm going to make sure I have 5 lines here. Remember, don't forget times 0. That one's always left out. Every single multiple list that you start with is going to have a 0. Then times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4. The reason I picked kind of a higher number like 6, I know most of you know your math facts and you're like, that's not a high number. But let's say you didn't know your math facts at all. You start with 0, and we know that multiplication is repeated addition. So what I can do is I can take my answer and add 6 every single time. So that's easy for the first one. 6 times 1 is 6, but also 0 plus 6 is 6, so that works out. What if I don't know 6 times 2? I just don't know my math facts yet. Then I can take this 6 and I can add another 6. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 6 more, 18, plus 6 more, 24. That's a good way to get your multiples if you don't have your math facts memorized yet. And that will really come in handy if you are ever to find the multiples of a larger number, say like 13 or 14, which won't happen often, but it could happen. So that's the difference between multiples and factors. Use the little tricks of the big T and the 2 dots to remember which one's which, because sometimes it is easy to mix up. You guys are going to practice multiples a little bit more today.